Okay. Let's get started. Just regular meeting of the City Council. Let's call the roll.
Councilman Duper.
Present.
Councilman Daly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Popescu.
Here.
Mayor Rigsby.
Here.
And Councilman Brower will be late. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We will start with the invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilman Duper. Are there any items to be added or deleted?
No, sir.
Okay, now is the time for the public to comment on any items not on the agenda. If you'd like to speak, this is your chance. Going, gone. We'll deal with conflicts of interest as they arise. We have, for item number 1, some presentations. We have, I guess, we had the Genesis about 40 years ago, and now we're having some Exodus. And some of you have been here almost the whole time. First, Deborah, come forward.
Yes.
We have an item to give to you. Let me see if I can find which one it is. Who's been here longer than the city clerk. So she has to stick around another 5 years to beat you? We had someone retire about 4 years ago who was here for just about 7 months less than you were. Yes. So you are the longest serving employee in the history of the city of Loma. Well-deserved retirement. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
Next is Tom Pafundi. There are lots of theories on how to pronounce that name, but he's not. Okay. Does anybody know how to? Tom gets a lamp. He was here 26 years to the month, so that's a very long time. Field maintenance technician. Last is Alan, Pena, Florida. There he is. Not retiring, but moving on. We have for you our official pen set, and a plaque. You have to retire to get a lamp. Alan Pena, Florida, in recognition of city service, assistant planner, March 2002 to October 2011, so 9.5 years. Yes. Alan is one of the first city employees that I ever worked with because I applied for a permit for my house, and he was the guy who carried my project through from start to finish, and it took about 50 years, so it was a big job. Well, that leaves a big empty spot in our city. We wish everybody the best in their sojourn in life. Next, we have item number 2, Southern California Edison presenting a resolution of appreciation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's my pleasure to be before you this evening from Southern California Edison. I have several presentations this evening. The first is, this is the year that Southern California Edison celebrates its 125th anniversary. And rather than expecting cards, we're giving out the gifts this year. We really want to tell you how much we appreciate the partnership that Southern California Edison has had with the City of Loma Linda for over 40 years. It's been a great partnership. We have been able to work together to provide energy efficiency to the community, the customers, as well as to the city. And we just really want to thank you for working with us and helping us to provide stable electricity to the area. So, to thank you, we're presenting you with this plaque to the City of Loma Linda, thanking you for being our valued partner for all these years, and we thank you for that. I'll present that to you in a moment. This is one of the cities that has done more to help themselves than any city that I've worked with. So it's my pleasure to let you know that you have recently been the recipient of rebates in the amount of $51,600. And this is due to the great work that your staff has done. The original amount that you were supposed to get was significantly less, but your staff worked so hard and were able to work even more magic than I would have thought to get an additional $30,000 than originally planned. So you have done a wonderful job. And then I received a news flash today from your representative from Edison, Gerald Wilson, to say that he had just received your application for the LED streetlights. That is going to give you an additional $6,000 that you were not expecting. So how that works out is that this first year you will receive $22,000 in rebates, and every subsequent year you will be receiving an extra $16,000 of rebates. So well done to all of you.
Let me comment. This $16,000 in rebate is in addition to the saving that we have from just using less electricity. Okay. Thank you, Linda. I would like to recognize the city staff. Brian Bolger, stand up, please. Brian is our facility coordinator who worked with Gerald, with Edison, fill up all the paperwork, and also Jeff Peterson, our associate engineer. Just like every time you apply for a grant or ask for money, there's a lot of paperwork that come with it. So Brian and Jeff Peterson work with Edison and get all this grant money.
Good job.
Brian.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is, we've got a little crowd of people that came for this item. Number 3, public hearing, expansion of an existing 83-bed skilled nursing facility, including construction of a 46-unit addition. So, community development.
This is one of the last duty for Alan before he leaves the city. So.
You have me for at least one more presentation and Q&A. So, thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. This is basically a culmination of a lot of hard work and also a lot of patience on the part of the applicant. So we're really proud to present this project to you this evening. As you can see, it's the Linda Valleyville expansion project. Just to be familiar with the area and of the existing facility, this will be the location of the project. Essentially, it's on the south side of Cole Street. This is Benton Street here, and the existing facility is in this area here. You'll be seeing that also in the site plan. But at least now we're familiar with the project site. Just a brief summary of the project. This is an expansion of an existing skilled nursing facility. It's the construction of a new 46-unit assisted living residence. It is 2 stories. We're talking in the neighborhood of 34,000 square feet in all. There's a parcel map component to merge the 2 parcels together, and also a general plan amendment as well as a zone change. The general plan will change from high-density residential to healthcare, and the zoning will change from R3 to institutional. Essentially, this is to eliminate what's called spot zoning. What we're going to end up having is really just one contiguous area of the city where we have parcels with similar uses. The site plan, as you can see, this is the existing facility here. This is the proposed skilled nursing facility. Again, it's on the south side of Benton. Sorry, south side of Cole. Benton will be right here. We have parking areas to the south and additional parking closer to the entrance of the building. That was one of the modifications and revisions to the original plan. Essentially, that's to improve the circulation around the site and also to provide convenience and access to the entrance of the site. This is the elevations. Essentially, there were several changes. Mainly, there's some window treatments. I don't know if you can see it, but this was in your plans packet. And there were some window sills that were incorporated, I think, on the south side mainly, and also on the west side of the building. The front would be, this would be the front, and that would be looking south. And this would be the south elevation, so that will be looking north. And this would be the west elevation and east elevation of the building. It's done more or less in the craftsman style, which complements what's there right now. The floor plan, fairly straightforward. Basically, you have the units right here in this area. You have offices, meeting areas here. The main draw, I guess, on the first floor would be the garden area. Again, it's a secured facility, so the gardens will be secured and enclosed. And the the main entrance will be in this area, and that essentially will be your drop-off, and will be the reception and office area there too. Second floor, really more of the same. You have your units there, and you have the auxiliary rooms and meeting areas. You have a game room here, a rec room here as well as. I believe that's it. Pretty straightforward. Staff is in full support of this project. As I said, we've been working, how many months now, guys? It's been a while, but it's been, I think, more or less a labor of love, I could say, for the applicants, and it's been really rewarding working with them. They've exhibited great patience, and they've really demonstrated that they really wanted to work closely with staff to obtain a project that's would complement the site and the city. So staff's available for any questions as well as the applicants. Thank you.
A couple questions. Well, since we're on this page, well, actually the next slide over, can you point out to me the entrances and exits?
Entrances. Main entrance would be in this area here. You have a porte cochere, so it's the idea is that you can drive in and pick up, and there's should be some. What's not shown on the site is the parking spaces around this area.
Okay.
There's also another entrance here and another entrance here, which will probably be primarily used from the other side.
And there's no entrances at the very back of the building?
No entrances in this back, but basically what they're going to have to do is park their cars and either use this entrance or the very front entrance. Again, there are 2 parking spaces that were provided, and that's for the purposes of dropping off.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. That building only has 2 entrances, one at the very front and one at the back there, that's it?
Sorry, it's 3 entrances, one here,
Uh-huh.
another one here, and one in the middle.
Is that not a 4th entrance straight across from right there?
Right over here?
Yes.
This is the garden area. It's enclosed.
And that meets all fire regulations for fire exits?
Yes. I think two is the minimum.
I guess the applicant, you want to?
I'm just going to comment. The back part of the first floor is where we have our secured memory care, Alzheimer's unit. So obviously we are trying to protect the reload there on the back. The entrance to the building are there in front. And the drop-off faces down as explained with general parking.
Is there an actual outdoor patio area?
It's a garden area. It's enclosed.
It is enclosed. And
it's
where is that
enclosed.
located?
Right.
Right, that is that part right there. Okay, so that has, and that goes along the driveway area as well.
Yes.
I see.
And that's secured again as a wandering area for our memory care, Alzheimer's.
Alan, just, excuse me, where you did point out the garden, that is an exit of the building, correct? Those are doors there?
Exit of the building into the garden area.
Yes, so
yes.
if for an emergency purposes, that is a point of egress.
Yes.
Does that area have a gate at all? Oh, it does? Okay, so technically that is another exit, okay. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
One comment and a question. The comment is, I learned memory care unit. I'd never heard of that before, but it made sense once I figured out what it was. Is this the only memory care unit in the city of Loma Linda? So I'm assuming this is a much needed facility then, and that's nice to learn. The question that I had is, in reviewing the documentation of the request last night, I was going over landscaping plans, and it raised a question. As I drive through the city, we have a nice-looking city, but from time to time there are locations that have what I'm sure was attractive landscaping at one time but has not been sustained. Is there any kind of ordinance that requires that good landscaping be sustained?
We have, if it's in the front of the facility, businesses, that's why we have landscape assessment district. And when we have commercial, they usually pay for to join the landscape assessment district and maintain it. But at the same time, they also have to pay an annual fee so that if they don't maintain it, we will take it over. So we do have it.
And so the landscape assessment district. Is that help me understand a little better, is that voluntary or
No,
any
sir.
commercial property automatically is incorporated into?
It's a requirement.
It's a requirement.
It's a
Yes.
requirement.
Yes.
And there's a minimum percentage for commercial sites. I believe it's 20%. And they're required to, those are for new developments. And as far as maintenance goes, I mean, that's really part of the incorporating the conditions of approval of the project.
Okay.
And also, as far as the enforcement goes, any landscape or rear yard area that's not maintained does become a nuisance issue, and there's
Okay.
code enforcement action that's taken
Good.
care of for that.
That's useful to know. Thank you. Congratulations on pulling a good project together. I saw your name on this.
Thank you.
I see that they actually have listed quite a bit of different foliage that you plan to put along the north side there, so that's pretty nice. Just a comment, more or less. About 2 years ago, my mother had a stroke and left the home that she had lived in with my dad for close to 40 years, and she's been in a memory care facility in Redlands, only because there wasn't anything close here in Loma Linda. So I'm eagerly awaiting to see how this is all going to turn out, because that would be nice that she could be a little closer. So I'm very familiar with those terms and understand how all that works. And so, again, congratulations on a good project and a much-needed project.
Couple of questions and comments. The first comment, I remember learning a few years ago about the term elopement. We're so used to AMA against medical advice, but as I understand it, you have to actually have the patient sign for that term to come into being. And elopement is if someone just chooses to walk out the door for whatever reason. So that was a new one to me till relatively recently. I'm sorry I got here late, stuck at work, but reading the staff report, I wasn't completely clear on Planning Commission's recommendation on this project, and wasn't a lot mentioned about that. Any comments related to that and their action on this plan?
Maybe just a breakdown of some of their comments. From a site plan perspective, the main comment was there wasn't enough parking close to the entrance of the building, and that was the reason why they've accommodated that request by adding the 2 parking spaces, the tandem spaces here. It did present somewhat of a challenge. As you can see, the site is very long and narrow, and in order for us to meet the fire access requirements, they needed to move the building closer to the existing facility, and that gave us just enough room to accommodate those 2 spaces. The other concern was of lighting in the corridors, I believe, and really that was addressed by incorporating, I guess, more or less skylights through the corridors. It's hard to see here, but in the detailed plans, you do have them all through the corridors, both on the second and first floors of the structure. See, another concern was related to the aforementioned elevations, and mainly was an item called sun control. Essentially, the commission felt that there wasn't enough shading on the south side of the building, and the applicant addressed that by adding shade structures on the south side, and I believe this would be the south elevation here. So, actually on the south side and on the west side, and I think, was there anything else? Those were the main concerns, and the applicant did address them.
So with those issues addressed and the current recommendations before us, this was approved by the Planning Commission as far as the report as we have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, thank you for that report. What's the pleasure of the council? Well, I think we have to have a public hearing first, so let's do that. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this topic?
Vern Miller.
Come up to the podium.
Vern Miller, resident of Loma Linda, 11244 Benton Street. Just a question, when do we plan the grand opening for this facility? Can't happen fast enough.
Are you planning on going?
April 2013.
Awesome. Maybe my sister will be first resident. Thank you very much.
We'll save the date. We'll save the whole month. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing, and it's up to the council.
I'll move the mitigated negative declaration, and with the statement, I think this is a needed facility for our community, and no project's perfect, but a lot of work's gone into this.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay. Motion mitigated negative deck. Is there any further discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. Item B.
I'll go ahead and move Council Bill R-2011-41, which is amending the general plan from high-density residential to healthcare. General plan amendment number 11-07.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. We go to item C.
Mr. Mayor, if I make one comment, please.
Yes.
We couldn't discuss it because this was land use, but from an economic development standpoint, this facility will be bringing in 30 new jobs, new created jobs to the city, in addition to providing the services that they're providing.
Great.
And since we're, I know, kind of in the middle of discussing economic development, what is the cost of this project? Estimate cost?
$6 million.
Okay. Thank you. So that's additional property taxes that we're going to be generating. I know that's, you're not happy about that, but thank you.
Unless you go not for profit on us, like like everyone else. Okay. Is there any opinion on Council Bill O-2011-10?
I'll move Council Bill O-2011-10, the first reading, set for second reading on November 8th, amending the zoning map for multiple family R3 to institutional, zone change number 11-08.
Second.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on that? Is there any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. We're set the second reading for the next meeting, December 8th?
November 8th.
November 8th. Well, we'll set it straight. Okay, tentative parcel map 11-92. What's your pleasure?
I'll go ahead and move the tentative parcel map 11-92.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. We go to item E.
I'll move the PPD design 11-09.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Any opposition? It's approved.
I just wanted to make a general comment. For me, it's kind of interesting to go through this process. As a young child, I was 10 years old, and I actually lived on Cole Street, and I used to ride my bike where the house that was at one time at the corner of Benton and Cole Street stood, and the fire department burned it down to practice fire prevention. Of course, the villa was built after that. At the same time, actually a little bit before that, my mom's first job was working at Linda Valley, and she worked as a dishwasher and had worked her way up to being the cook there at the Valley. And I remember being a young kid, and actually, as I was looking at the map, I knew exactly where I was staying after school. We would come hang out at the nursing home, and we would stay out in the area that's, I think it's still there now, the dining room. And I remember watching TV, and I believe it was 1980 or 81, watching news about Chernobyl back then. And for a little period, my brother and I would actually play soccer out in the grassway, which now will be this building. So never did I envision that I would actually be a part of seeing that facility expand. And many of us here are in the healthcare field, and we understand the need for that, and we really appreciate the fact that you have taken the time to address those needs and develop it here in Loma Linda. Thank you.
We are sure the fire department intentionally burned that down, right? Okay. So.
Okay, thank you very much. You're congratulated. You have your approval, but pending one further action on November 8th. So we'll see you back, or maybe not. Okay, the consent calendar is up for consideration.
I'd like to pull item 9.
Okay. Why don't we just deal with it?
Okay.
What's your question on number 9?
Let me get to it. This has to do with the Anderson Street Bridge seismic retrofit. What are the projected, what's the projected timetable? When do we begin? What do we project in terms of it ending? And then finally, I'd like to hear something about what we plan to do in terms of dealing with the heavy traffic ingress and egress on Anderson during the time of the construction.
Yes, sir. Luckily, the majority of work will be done underneath the bridge. The way it works is the existing bridge is a deck beam that sits on the abutment on both ends, north and south end, and it's a pier in the middle. Okay, so it's like a beam that sits on a bookshelf. Okay, and in the event of earthquake, this beam move and have potential of slip and slide off the abutment, the edge of the abutment. So what we're doing is we add another shelf right next to the existing abutment and piers. By dowing, we drill a hole first and put this rebar into the existing abutment, and then build a deck right underneath it to support it, so that in the event of an earthquake, the deck move, but it will not slip off.
But the way it's currently engineered is as it was designed, right?
Yes.
So what
happening
what
is
did we learn that made us decide
the
that?
code changes. The code changes.
Okay.
So that's why we have to update the
And
bridge.
how long a period of time will this take?
It should take about a month.
And-
But the challenge is dealing with the railroad.
Yeah.
Is that we already have the permit from the railroad, but because we have to work within their right of way, we have to put up the construction fence. We have to get the flagman and work with the railroad. But it should have a minimum impact on the traffic to the top
so,
on the bridge.
So all of the work will be done underneath,
the majority of
and
the work will be
traffic
done.
can continue
Yes,
to
sir.
flow.
Yes, sir. And if we have to close, we might only have to close one lane at a time.
Okay. And when is it scheduled to begin?
The contractor wanted to start next week, but I said hold off until he get all the insurance from the railroad and everything taken care of.
Okay. Thank you.
And funding for this project is 80% from the highway bridge, HBR, Highway Bridge Replacement and Rehabilitation Program. 20% come from Seismic Retrofit Fund. But the reason I asked for use part of the gas tax on Measure I is just a little cushion, just in case. So, and at the same time, we also going to use the same contractor repair another bridge, which is the Anderson at the San Mateo channel, just fixing the seal. So.
Now, now some of the funding was to come from RDA.
No, sir.
No?
Yes, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, at the beginning it was supposed to come from RDA, but that's why I'm changing it, use the half-cent sale tax, the Measure I instead.
Okay. The question, I guess, is in January, if the RDA funding, if we get use of that RDA funding again, does that change our plans in terms of how we pay for it?
No, sir.
We would continue with the same plan.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question on, I knew earthquakes aren't that simple as just a Richter number, but most of us that aren't seismologists kind of use that as a reference. Is there any rough guide what this will allow the bridge to
Nope.
withstand, or is it looked at in those terms?
No, it doesn't. For this structure, it doesn't calculate that way. What it does is it's called life-saving. So in the event of earthquake, the bridge will not collapse on for you. But it might be damaged, but at least it will not collapse when people was driving on it. So it might crack, the deck might crack, the column might crack, but it will not fall down.
Just out of curiosity, is it the same basic engineering model for the Mountain View Bridge?
Yes, sir. And we did that for two purposes. One is to widen the bridge, at the same time retrofit it too.
Okay.
And we also get the grant money to pay for that too. So they did both at the same time.
I'm ready to move the consent calendar if nothing
Okay.
else is going to get pulled.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Any opposition to the consent calendar? Hearing none, it's approved. We'll move on to reports of councilmen. Okay. Any takers? Go ahead.
Just waiting for Councilman Popescu to say something, but he hasn't. So the only comment I had was that we four of us, and Councilman Brower unfortunately wasn't in town, but the rest of us were able to attend the fair and parade last weekend, and it was a very good both parade and fair, and it seems to be getting bigger every year and drawing more of a crowd, and I think we all had fun and enjoyed it. So that was just the only comment.
And we just had the trailhead ribbon cutting grand opening, so you can get to the trail now, and there's no red ribbon in your way. We sliced it through. You can get in easily. Okay, now we'll go to reports of officers. Number 11.
Mr. City Attorney, I don't know how detailed some of the issues here will be. I do own personal residence within 500 feet of some of this property. My intent was to listen to the report and so forth, but if there's any situation you feel I should declare a potential conflict, I will ask for your advice.
Well, this evening is simply a report, and provided there's no discussion of any future action and you do not participate in that discussion, there would be no need to disqualify yourself this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, I don't see Dr. Fanous, the resident who mentioned about this problem at the last city council meeting, and I did promise her that I would have this back to the city council meeting tonight. Before we go on to the Almond Court situation, I would like to go over our overall city storm drain system. Our town is pretty much drained from pretty much the south to the north, where we have a Santa Mateo channel cut pretty much across the city. We have a Mission Sankey to the northeast corner. We have 4 major debris basins, one at Whittier's, one at Mountain View, one at Richardson, and another one at the Lawton. The major storm drain that we have in the city is located at Mountain View. We have a 72-inch storm drain that pretty much take the drain from the debris basin, come out, go underneath the railroad track out to Santa Mateo Channel. We also have existing storm drain down on Barton Road to Benton, and then from Benton is outlet over here to the open channel along the Drayson Center, come across the railroad track out to open channel here at Van Leuven, and go into the pipe and come out to the open channel over here to come out to the San Tim. Another system is we have a storm drain at Campus Street. This is Barton Road, intercept the water from Barton to Campus. And 2 years ago, we extended the storm drain pipe to go underneath the railroad track, and a pipe to the open channel over here and go out to Santa Mateo Channel. We also have a smaller system that take care of the drainage at the southeast corner of town. We have a pipe along Beaumont, come through here, and have another pipe underneath the railroad track, go out to San Tim, a little bit along here and so forth. We also have, to the north of the San Tim Channel, we have a major storm drain pipe that go at the Mission Road, to Mountain View, and take the water from Mountain View all the way to the freeway, to the south side of the freeway, and go out to Mission Sankey Channel. This is our existing storm drain system. What we have is in our 5-year CIP, I have looked in the future of what we need as far as the future storm drain system. For this fiscal year, we have proposed to extend the storm drain at the end of Benton to go underneath the railroad track, go across Van Leuven, and come out at the San Tim. When the county did the improvement to the Santa Mateo Channel, from the earth channel to the concrete trapezoid channel, we asked them to install the pipe outlet at that location. So all we have to do is just connect to that outlet. And this project is budgeted for this fiscal year, by the way, with majority of the money part of the money come from the storm drain fund, part of the money come from RDA. Next, we have a project to extend the storm drain at Benton, again, further north from Barton Road up to Lawton, and east on Lawton to the low spot right here, which you remember by Wilbur Street. During this past storm, we have a big mud pile over here because the street dipped at Lawton. So by doing so, it would take majority of the water from this dip, this low spot, out to tie to existing storm drain at Benton and Barton Road. The existing pipe over here was only 24-inch reinforced concrete pipe that was installed a long time ago. Even though it's budgeted for next fiscal year, but we don't have money for it at this time. I kind of put that in so that set a priority so that in the future we have money, we kind of build it. If not, we kind of move it further to the following years. Next, we plan to cover this open ditch with pipe. And the reason we plan to do that is because this last storm in November, the mud and debris pretty much filled up this ditch. So the water went undermine the railroad track during the storm. So the railroad had to pretty much stop the train right on the track to prevent it from derailing. We also have a project that to put in the storm drain at New Jersey Street, kind of between Orange and eventually tied to the Mission Sankey Channel. But that will not happen until we start developing this area right here. Van Leuven is just this little piece right here. So when we build this channel, cover it up, we'll extend the pipe underneath the railroad track and extend the pipe at the end of Van Leuven to Orange Grove to tie to existing pipe right here. Next is the storm drain at Barton Road. Right now, all this is vacant property, but eventually, when it's developed, the water will come from here, moving north to Barton Road. We will intercept the water here at Barton and bring it out to Santin Channel. So that is our kind of next 5 or 6 year, if we have money to do it right now. But that's kind of a priority of our storm drain system that we have in town. Unfortunately, we don't have the money to do all of it at this time. Yes, sir.
How dependent are these projects on RDA money?
Not much. No.
So
No.
I thought in one of the early
Yeah,
ones,
this one we would like to do it to get it done. That's it.
and that one is dependent on.
Yes. So, for example, the project that was just approved earlier is happened to be right here. As part of that project, the builder had to pay part of the storm drain development fee. So that part of their money will go into the pots so that when we have enough money, we can build this section of storm drain right here. This section right here, same thing. When the university ready to expand the East Campus, they were planning to remove the two big buildings. They will put in part of the storm drain fee to help us to build this section of the pipeline. This one, it will be depend on the improvement of this property over here and here in the futures. Now, what we have here is, this is Huron Street. This is Wilbur, Pecan, Cypress, and Almond Court. Dr. Fanous, who was here at the last meeting, her house is right here. Just happened to be at the end of Cypress Street. This is existing topographic area to the South Hill. We have about 22.5 acres of tributary drainage area. So what happened is when it rained, the water will fall into this 22.5 acres and flow down here onto the end of the Almond Court, come out and return this way west on Cypress to Pecan and go north on Pecan Street. This is Almond Court looking north. You see this is the canyon right here. This is where the water coming out from the canyon, coming out this way, and turn and going down the street. What happening is, you can see the street is about 13% slope. So the water will usually come down pretty fast, and then it pretty much stop because this street is 0.5%. Okay? And the high point of Cypress is about a little bit to the east right here, so everything flowing this direction, come down to Pecan and north on Pecan. So, in the past, during the normal storm event, the curb can handle all the flow. You know, we have a cross gutter right here, so the water not even crossing the street. It will come down here in the curb and gutter, go to the cross gutter, and stay within the cross gutter with normal flow. But what happened, again, during the winter storm is because we have mud, and it pretty much it just went into her front yard. This is what her front yard looked like today. A couple of days ago, I took these pictures. So my recommendation to her earlier and again tonight is for her to build this 2.5 to 3 feet block wall. As a matter of fact, I took this picture from the wall at the resident at the southwest corner of Pecan and Lawton. There's also a similar wall at Wilbur and Lawton, and also a wall similar to this on the north side of Lawton at the end of Wilbur. So what's happening is when water come down, it will hit this wall, and the debris will stop right here. You can put in the gate that, yes, is open right now, but we can have a slot so that during the rain season, you can have a steel plate or wood plate and fill it, slip it in, and to prevent the water and mud from going through the gate. That's just an idea, okay? We also have a resident that live at the northeast corner of Hillcrest and Lawton who get a little water in there. As a matter of fact, he's on our budget committee, have a water into their swimming pool. So he did. He built a little short block wall and also purchased a flood insurance. Since this area is not in a flood zone, the premium is only $300 a year. So, and that's pretty much in my report to the council. That is a very reasonable idea that the property owner can do to correct her concern and problems. Any question?
The 22 and a half acres, is that all privately owned?
Can you go back for me, please? I have the property owner shown on there, so I can show that to you. Okay. This here at the end of the cul-de-sac, there's 2 pieces of property right here, 2 lots. Those 2 are private property. Dr. Barron owned those 2 lots. And this piece right here, that's a parcel line, actually come all the way over here to, I think it's Lawton. It's owned by JSB Financial Corp. This is owned by this family trust. The city owned this piece right here, and another family living trust owned this piece right here. So it's owned by 6 property owners.
And so the flooding was caused by everything flowing north.
Yes.
And so when Dr. Fanous is concerned about that, digging out all the mud and so forth, how much of that blue basin is full of mud that needs to be addressed?
The thing is, we can't just build. We can build a dam, okay?
But we don't own the property.
Correct. That means we have to purchase all this property, right. And to build this, to make this a big basin, we have to purchase the property. Right. We have to build the dam. We have to build the pipe. I'm looking at between $1.2 and $1.3 million, and that just to purchase, because this is a full take, and a portion of this. I'm not even including the city portion, and between $1.3 million. Any more questions?
So the issue is complicated because there's multiple owners on a major piece of property, so to resolve this thing is a complicated situation.
It's very complicated, yes, and so. Thank you. And well, since I'm up here, item number 12 is I would like to announce that on at the next City Council meeting, November 8th at 2 o'clock, we will have a ribbon cutting for the 120-unit apartment at the east side of Poplar Street. And that's a
Could I just ask you to do me a favor on this one? Could you or maybe the clerk send a meeting request via Outlook to our city email?
Oh, sure, sure.
Because it just helps me consolidate my calendars better.
Sure.
If that's okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
Since we're talking about that particular ribbon, and I don't know if you have the question, but that project's already open, correct? Are residents living there?
Yes.
What's the status of it? How much of it is occupied?
It's approximately 75% occupied.
Okay, thank you.
That's the opening. We're going to do the grand opening.
The grand opening was probably for the additional buildings they built. My question was that where we had these South Hills Trails event this evening at 5:30, about all that basin there, what is being done to unstop the overflow pipe, stand pipe on the south side of the spillway? It's full of mud clear up to the top, and at the bottom it's all full too.
We clean it up.
It's going to be cleaned out?
Oh, yes, yes.
A router or something
Oh,
like
yes,
that?
sir.
Okay, I
As a
figured.
matter of fact, we completed the one at the Whittier already. Next is Mountain View, and another one is Richardson.
That's all.
Before we adjourn, I just want to note for the record, I'll be out of town on November 8th, so I'll be absent.
Okay, is there anything else? Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you. And there's no RDA tonight.